Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to be going over the midterm review. So again, follow along. If you want to follow along, you're free to do so by changing the speed of the video. Okay. Let's start. So simplify each of the following. Well, first of all, this negative here is what trips a lot of people up. So you want to think of this as -1 times the quantity -9c squared minus 9c minus 8. And we're going to distribute that -1. So everything here doesn't need to be in parentheses. So I'm just going to rewrite everything without the parentheses. Plus 4. And -1 times -9c squared is positive 9c squared plus 9c plus 8. And then what you need to do here is just combine like terms. So these are like terms. 12 plus 9 is 21c squared. Negative c plus 9c is plus 6c. And 4 plus 8 is 12. And no, you don't need to simplify this any further. You don't need to factor anything. All it asks you to do is just subtract them. For the next one, this is a product. So you're going to need to take every term in the first parenthesis and distribute it to every term in the second. So let's start with x. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times -2 is minus 2x. And now 3 times x squared is plus 3x squared. 3 times 2x is plus 6x. And 3 times -2 is -6. And now, combine like terms. X cubed is by itself. There's no like term there. 2x squared plus 3x squared is 5x squared. -2x plus 6x, that's plus 4x. And -6 is on its own, so -6, and that is your final answer. Next for this one is, you need to simplify this right here. This is the same thing as x to the power a to the power b is equal to x to the power ab. So this is equal to n to the power 10 over n to the power 20, and that reduces to 1 over n to the power 10. Oops, no. 1 over n squared. My apologies. All right. Now for this one, you need to take, if you have a times b to the power x, this is equal to a to the power x, b to the power x, so you can distribute the exponent. So this is equal to 2 to the power 2 times x to the power 6 times y to the power 2 times, times 2 to the power 4, x to the power 8, y to the power 8. And this is equal to 2 to the power 6 times x to the power 10. Because now that we have it like this, now we can add the exponents. Times y to the power 10. And 2 to the power 6 is 64, x to the power 10, y to the power 10. That's your final answer. And from here, anything that is anything to the power 0 is always 1. So this is just negative 145 times 1, which is negative 145. And this right here, you need to you need to simplify this radical. So think about what is a factor of 72 that's a perfect square, and that's 36. So I'm going to rewrite 72 as the product of 36 and 2. And you can split this up by this rule. AB equals square root A times square root B. Square root 36 times square root 2. Square root of 36 is 6. So this becomes negative 6 times root 2, and that is your final answer. This is not real. Root of a negative is not real. So the answer is not real. Well, there is an answer, but you don't learn it in this class. Okay. Which of the following angle measures are possible for a triangle to be classified as obtuse? At least one angle is greater than 90 degrees. Okay, so let's see. This definitely, this one, yes. C, no, and D, no, because none of them are 90 degrees or greater. Super. An angle measure is 32. Find its complement and its supplement. Its complement is two angles that sum to 90 degrees. And, oh wait, whoops, what happened? And a supplement is two angles that sum to 180 degrees. So, for here, you can think of it like this. Let's say I have these two angles, 32 degrees and x. This is essentially saying that x plus 32 degrees has to equal 90. We want to find what that x is. And to do that, just subtract 32 from both sides. X equals, this is 58 degrees. Now for a supplement, this is essentially if you have a straight angle, otherwise known as a straight line. And there's my 32 degrees, there's my x. I need to find out what this angle measure can possibly be. This is essentially saying x plus 32 equals 180. So to find out what that angle is, just subtract 32 from both sides. X equals, this is 150, no, this is 148 degrees, and that's your answer. Okay. All right, now off for these ones. Solve the following, make sure to check your answers. So we need to get x by itself here, and to do that, just subtract 5.1 from both sides. And then you get 8x equals, and you can use a calculator for this. Decimals can be intimidating, but this is going to be, I think 9.3. Let me check. 14.4 minus 5.1. Yep, 9.3. And then to further get x by itself, you divide both sides by 8. You get x equals 1.1625. That's your final answer. And then for this one, to get C by itself, well, there's a radical in the way. You need to isolate the radical. Isolate radical. So you're going to add 3 to both sides. And then you're going to get, I'm going to move this over. You're going to get the square root of 2c plus 6 equals 3. And to get rid of that radical, you cube both sides. I mean, square both sides. And then this becomes 2c plus 6 equals 9. Subtract 6 from both sides. 2c equals 3. Divide by 2, divide by 2. C equals 3 halves. Now for this one, you should recognize that the square root of something equals -9. This is not possible. Not possible because a square root cannot equal a negative. So we would say this is not real. No, you would say, sorry, no real solutions. No real solution. There is a solution, but we don't learn it in this class. It's something to do with imaginary numbers. Okay, that's the first page. Now this next page, the list of ordered pairs below represents a function. State the domain and range of the function. So again, domain is your set of x values, and your range is the set of y values. So your domain is just the x values. In this case, it's -8, -5, 1, and 5. List them in order if you can. And the range is just the y values. So in this case, it's going to be -2, 0, 5. And that is your final answer. Okay, determine the type and degree of each polynomial. So this one has 2 terms, so 1, 2. This is a binomial. And its highest degree is 4. This one is a trinomial because it has 3 terms. And the highest degree is 4. This one is a monomial with its highest degree being 0. The width of a rectangle is less than half the length. The perimeter is 148 inches. Find the length and width. That's a mouthful. So first of all, let's just draw a rectangle. And then it's saying the width of the rectangle is 4 less than half the length. So -0.5 length minus 4. The perimeter is 148 inches. So we have length and width, right? And the area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Perimeter. P equals 2 of the lengths plus 2 of the widths. So we have L plus width plus width, which is equal to L plus, and then replace the W's with combine like terms, so these are like terms, and that equals 3L minus 8. And remember, this equals 148. So add 8 to both sides. We get, I think this is 156 equals 3L. Divide both sides by 3. So L equals 52. 52 inches. And to find the width, 0.5 times 52 minus 4. And that's pretty much half of 52, so that's 26 minus 4. Width equals 22 inches. What is the base of a triangle with area? Okay, so enough reading. We have a triangle. That's all we care about so far. So we're looking for the base of the triangle. With the area is that many inches and the height is 16. So the area of a triangle is equal to base times height over 2. And here we know the area of the triangle is 112, so plug that in. Times the height is 16, so I'm going to write 16 times h over 2, and I want to solve for h. Oops, sorry. No, I want to solve for b. Sorry. We replaced h. We're looking for b. Okay, from here, to solve for b, multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that fraction. This becomes 224 equals 16b. Solve for b, divide both sides by 16, and you get b equals, oh man, okay, 1, and the words left over 64. I think it's 14 inches. I just did that in my head, but let me see if I'm correct. Yeah, I'm correct. Whoop. All right. Translate and solve. 67.6 is what percent of 104? So the what percent indicates that's my x. That's what I'm looking for. And remember, percents are fractions over 100 that are equivalent to a part of a whole or a part of a total. And percent is what we're looking for, so that's going to be x over 100 equals, and my part is 67.6 over percent of 104. The of is going to be your 100%. So from here, to solve this, you have to cross multiply. And x times 104 is 104x equals 67.6 times 100 is 676. So 6,760. Divide both sides by 104. Get x alone. And in the calculator, is going to be 65%. That's your answer. Okay, now for the next one. Gary got a raise in his hourly pay from $17.50 to $21. Find the percent change, round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So all you really need to do here is compare $21, which you don't even need that, and set it over 17.5, and it'll tell you, this is essentially how you find percent change. 21 divided by 17.5. So that's 1.2. So what that means is it's 100% of his pay before plus 20%. So it's a 20% increase. That's what the 0.2 means. Okay. For the next one, evaluate this annoying thing when A equals 2 and B equals 5. So this is pretty much where you're just plugging in these numbers. Plugging in this numbers to that function. So we have 2 times 2 squared plus 3 times 5 minus 2, which is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, plus 3 times 5 is 15, minus 2. This is 23 minus 2, which is 21. Now, Renee bought a new jacket that cost her $117, but the sales tax rate was 61%. What was the total amount she paid after taxes? So essentially, you're going to take the price of the coat times 1.061, because that's 100% of the price, which is $117, plus 6.1% of that. So 117 times 1.061. That is 124.137, but this is talking about money. So money-wise, this is $124, and you need to round to the hundredths place. Coins are only to the hundredths place, so, and 14 cents. Okay. Right? Solve the following, give your answers in interval notation. So essentially what you need to do for part A is you need to get this side to only have X. So in order to do that, see how these sevens, negative sevens are out and about? Let's get rid of those. We don't really care for those to be there. But because you're adding it on one side, you need to add it to all three sides. So goodbye and goodbye. This becomes negative 12 is less than negative 4x. Oh, wait, so sorry. Nope. Negative 4x plus 7x, which is 3x minus 6, is less than 15. Now let's add 6 to both sides. You can also divide by 3 right away, but whatever you care to do first. This is negative 6 is less than 3x is less than 21. Divide all sides by 3. So this is essentially like a more interesting way of solving an equation. Negative 2 is less than x is less than 7. And it wants this in interval notation. So in interval notation, this is negative 2 comma 7. And for this one you do have to get x by itself. So you're going to need to take negative 3 and distribute it. And from here you get 4x minus 3x. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12x is less than negative x minus 8. Oh, there's no x here. Okay. Super. I'm just going to go ahead and combine like terms. So this is x minus 12 is less than negative x minus 8. Let's go ahead, add x to both sides, add 12 to both sides. And here we get 2x, 2x is less than 4. Divide both sides by 2. We get x is less than 2, which in interval notation Because it's all values less than 2, it's going to be negative infinity, comma, is it a strict, yeah, it's a strict inequality. Comma, 2 parentheses. That's your final answer. Now for this one, just add 4 to both sides. And you get x is greater than or equal to negative 21, which in interval notation is, so this is all numbers that are bigger than negative 21. So we have negative 21. It has to be in bracket to infinity because it's in less than or equal to. Okay, for this one, solve the formula 3x plus y equals 6 for y. That means get y by itself. So subtract 3x from both sides. Now, you cannot combine these. They are not like terms. So your final answer is just y equals 6 minus 3x. Or y equals negative 3x plus 6. So whichever one you care to use. Find the slope, midpoint, and distance for these following points. So I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Now remember, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Midpoint is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2 over 2. And the distance formula is x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared, all under the square root symbol. Okay, so from here, this is just, so slope is negative 3 minus negative 3 over negative 5 minus 0, which is equal to negative 3 plus 3 over negative 5, which this is 0 over negative 5, which is just 0. Midpoint of these 2 points is, so x2 plus x1, so it's 0 plus negative 5 over 2, which is equal to just negative 5 over 2. And then negative 3 plus a negative 3 over 2, which is just negative 6 over 2, which is just negative 3. So the midpoint here is parenthesis negative 5 over 2, comma, negative 3. Okay. And for distance formula, for the distance, it's x1 minus x2, so 0 minus a negative 5, and this is all squared, plus negative 3 minus a negative 3 squared, all under the square root. So this becomes 5 squared plus 0 squared, all under the square root, which is just the square root of 25, which is just 5. Same thing here. x1, y1, x2, y2. For slope, have the formula on you, it's going to be -6 minus 2 over -7 minus -2, which is equal to which is equal to -8 over -7 plus 2, which is -8 over -5, which is just 8 over 5, the positive, because it's -8 divided by -5. For midpoint, it's going to be -2 plus -7 over 2, which equals -9 over 2. And then we have 2 plus a -6 over 2, which is equal to -4 over 2, which is -2. So the midpoint is -9 over 2, comma, -2. And for the distance, it is -2 minus a -7 squared plus 2 minus a -6 squared, all under the square root. So this is equal to 5 squared plus 8 squared, all under the radical, which is equal to 25 plus 64, which is equal to the square root of 89. And yeah, okay. 20 pages left. Oh, okay. Given the function is defined, find f of 4. So that's your input. That means plugging in 4 for where you see x. So this becomes 4 times 4 to the power 2 minus 6 times 4 plus 5. This is 4 times 16, which is 64, minus 6 times 4 is 24, plus 5 equals 64 minus 24 is 40, plus 5, 45. Translate from algebra to English. So read from left to right. 5 is greater than or equal, greater than a number less than 30. And that is your final answer. Okay. Find the area of the shaded region in the figure below if the radius of the outer circle is 8 and the radius of the inner circle is 2. Enter the exact answer in forms of pi. Okay, so area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. So big circle is equal to pi times 8 squared, which is equal to 64 pi. And then the small circle is equal to pi times 2 squared, which is 4 pi. And the area of the donut is equal to big circle minus small circle. So the area of this donut is equal to 64 pi minus 4 pi. And because these are like terms, 60 pi. Okay. Each answer choice below represents a relation by a set of ordered pairs. In which of the choices is the relation a function? So we're looking for ones that are a function. So a relation is a function when every input has one unique, wait, no. Oh, wait, no, hold on. When no inputs share multiple outputs. So an example for a function not function. So some examples, just so we can understand what the answer is supposed to look like. So if I have like A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is an example of a function. Like this is a function. This can be a function. A, B, C, but for example, this cannot be a function. Because this output shares two inputs, so it's not. But these ones are fine. So let's see. Let's see, 10, 2, -3, -3. And we see that -3 has two different outputs. But we cannot have that, so it's not going to be that. And then I see we have 7, -1, 6. So -1 appears twice, and it has two different outputs. It's not that. Let's see, C. Now everything looks good. All the inputs are unique. Let's see, for the next one, D is 1 because all the inputs are unique. For E, if you look, we have 9 listed twice and it has two different outputs. It's not the answer. So the only ones that are functions are C and D. Use the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing length of the legs. So Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a, b, and c, where a and b represent legs, and c is the hypotenuse. So we'll let this be a. Okay, so we have a squared plus 63 squared, and it has to equal 65 squared. So a squared equals, and again, you can use your calculator for this. 63 times 63 is 3,969. Oh, not equals. Plus equals 65 times 65, which is 42,000, no, sorry, 4,225. Now we need to get a by itself, so subtract from both sides. A squared equals 3,969. 256. Square root both sides, and square root of 256 is actually 16. So that's your final answer. Okay. Find the area and perimeter of the image below. Okay. So let's find the area first. The area here is essentially just a rectangle and a triangle. So the area of the rectangle is, again, area of a rectangle is length times base times height, or length times width, whatever, and the area of a triangle is equal to base times height divided by 2. So for here, this is 6 centimeters. Why? Because this whole thing is 12 and this is 6, so that has to be 6. And the area here is going to be 11, no, not 11, because this area is going to be 11 minus 4, because if this is 4 and this is 11, that has to be 7. So 6 times 7 divided by 2 is equal to 42 divided by 2, which is 21 centimeters squared. And this is area equals 12 times 4, which is 48 centimeters squared. So the area of this image is 21 plus 48, which is 69 centimeters squared. And the perimeter, well, if we count this, the perimeter is the sum of all the edges. In this case, it's 11 plus 12 plus 4 plus 6 plus, and how do we find this length here? Represent that with C. So we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 7 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. This is 49 plus 36 equals c squared. So c squared equals 49 plus, that's 85. So square root both sides, you get c equals the square root of 85. So you have to add that side as well. And when you do that, p is equal to, so I'm just going to add everything. Let's say one to round. 22 centimeters. I'll round to the hundredths place. And there you go. Okay, last one. Identify the angles alpha, beta, gamma, and delta shown in the figure below as either right, acute, obtuse, or straight angles. So right off the bat, this delta right here is a right angle because it's a square. Right angle. This is, beta is acute. Gamma is obtuse. And alpha is obtuse. So right is 90 degrees. Acute is less than 90 degrees. Obtuse is greater than 90 degrees. And a straight angle is 180 degrees. Okay, and that concludes this video.